All right, everybody, we're here. It's Wednesday. Yep, it is Wednesday, June the 16th, 2021, and we are live with Flipping America REIA. Glad you're here. Got a great show lined up for you today. I've got some, Seth is here. He's in the green room. He's ready to roll. And we've got some guests in the studio today. In fact, I'm just going to jump over there. And so you were seeing these guys in the warm-up. This is, here, we'll just put you on the screen together. This is Will Dyer and Chip Cagle with Bay Mountain Capital. Hey, guys.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
We're doing good.
All right, so you guys are in town. Tell us about what you were in town for yesterday.
All right, so I live here, but Will came to, we had what's called an on-site renovation group, and that's part of Atlanta REIA. Atlanta REIA has that every first and third Tuesday of the month. So yesterday...
Oh, I didn't realize they did it twice a month.
Yeah, and we sponsor it, and yesterday it was one of the properties that we funded. So we wanted to showcase that and our borrower and the broker that had brought the deal to us.
Yeah,
so, really
I'm sorry,
event.
I interrupted you. Those of you that are with us weekly, you see Chip every week. Usually he's not in the studio with us, but Will is in town today. So we actually bumped into him yesterday. I was doing a lunch meeting, and then after the on-site renovation, they came into where I was doing the lunch meeting. And so I invited him to come over here and be here, and that's cool. So I'm going to come back to you guys in just a minute.
Okay.
But let's just do our normal thing that we do here. And, of course, with the Flipping America REIA, this is a national REIA with a local focus. Now we are 32 chapters nationwide, and I just took a peek a little while ago, and the membership on our meetup sites today is 10,677 of you. And that's great. Yeah, that's great. We're going to go over 11,000, I think, probably in the next month or two. And so thank you all. Thank you so much for listening to us now. Thank you for the feedback that you give us, for the questions. And remember, if you ever have any question about real estate or real estate investing, you could send your questions to questions@flippingamerica.net. We promise that we will get you an answer, usually within 24 hours. And sometimes we do a whole show. There's a podcast, and we do the show, Flipping America, the question and answer show, and we just sit there and answer your questions. We're going to answer your question via email immediately, but we might use your question on an upcoming show. So the only thing we ask when you write in, tell us where you're from and how you listen to the show. So that's that. Now, we begin every one of these events with a little bit of mindset adjustment, and the focus is on taking personal responsibility for your life. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to say the Flipping America pledge. So here we go. Recite it along with as the video plays. When I look in the mirror, I see the reason, the credit for my successes, the blame for my failures. I cannot make it without my team, and I tell them often. But when they succeed, it's because I chose well and I led well. When they fail, it's because I did not choose or lead well. I am the reason. I may have setbacks, but I cannot fail if I don't ever give up. You got circumstances. I got circumstances. We all got circumstances, but you won't find me under mine. My situation will not dictate my emotion. My circumstances will not control my results. External forces will not take away my power to choose. I cannot change the world, but I can change me and the way I relate to it. So I charge on. I am the reason. I have a massive vision, which creates massive pressure, leading to massive action, which is the only chance I have to achieve massive results. The world doesn't owe me success. God doesn't owe me success. No one is going to work for my success. Therefore, no one will work harder for their success than I will for mine. I will give my all and then a bit more. So tomorrow, my all will be more. All right, I remembered while that was playing that somebody asked me for that a couple weeks ago. And, of course, I'm happy to send a copy of that. If you want the actual words to that, just drop me a line. Send it to questions@flippingamerica.net, and the team will get you a copy. We'll get it right out to you. We also have been asked a few times where it came from. I wrote it, and I didn't write it all at once. It actually is sort of a compilation of my fire myself up thoughts that I've come to over the years and learning a little piece of it. So it's actually several little pieces that I put together, and I started doing it at my live events about 2-3 years ago, and then it became the pledge, and there you go. So at the live events, we say it when we come back from every break. Everybody has a copy of it, and we stand up and put our hands on our hearts, and we pledge to take responsibility for our own life and success. It's a good thing to think about, and it's a good thing also. I use it when I'm having a down day. Let's take a couple minutes and look at the announcements. I'm going to switch over to that. Nope, I'm looking at the order here. We got a play sheet. We have a run sheet. It's right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back and talk to the guys. A big part of the success of the Flipping America REIA is due to the support of our sponsors. And one of our sponsors that had been from the very beginning of the REIA is Bay Mountain Capital. And so Bay Mountain Capital officially, I welcome you to the show and to the studio today. Thank you for joining us. And again, let's see. Chip, are you going to talk right now and talk to us a little bit about what's going on? You got a story for us?
I do.
All right, lean into that microphone a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, tell us.
I was actually going to talk some more about the property that we highlighted yesterday at the on-site renovation group.
All right.
And the address is 1178 Joseph E. Boone Northwest in Atlanta. So her purchase price was $185,000. She had a rehab budget of $117,450. So the total between those two is $302,450. So just over $300,000 is her total cost. She thought it was going to be worth $450,000. The appraisal came in lower than that, $399,000, and the as-is value on that appraisal was a little less than what she was paying for it. So we weren't able to give her a 100% loan. So she did have some cash, have to put some cash in for a down payment. But here's the really cool thing. First off, she stayed under budget, which is pretty unheard of in this industry. But she also...
my experience, too.
She also has it under contract already for $569,000. So that's way over her estimate or the appraisal. Of course,
Fire that appraiser.
That appraisal was done a year ago.
Yeah.
Over a year ago.
Yeah.
So a lot has changed since then. Anyway... we figured up that her profit's going to be around $220,000. And so had she used all of her cash for this and not borrowed money from us, her return on her cash would have been around 45%.
Which is not bad.
But because she came to us, and she did have that down payment, and she had all her costs associated with getting the loan, but her return on cash was 260%. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and that illustrates the power of leverage. And you guys have, if you are a regular listener, you hear me talking about debt. I really don't think that debt serves a good purpose in the lives of most consumers. But when it comes to investment real estate, debt is a wonderful and beautiful thing. And if you have long-term low-interest debt on income-producing real estate, you've got the best thing going. And that gives you the opportunity to scale, gives you great return on your cash, like you just heard, and it's fantastic. Now, we were talking a little while ago, and that is a great deal. What percentage of your people, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, what percentage of people get a deal that good? That's kind of unheard of, almost, isn't it?
Do you know the answer to that, Will?
Well, as everybody knows, over the last year or so, especially the single-family market, now is a 4-unit, a quad, but the single-family 1 to 4 has just been on fire. Those deals are hard to come by, I will admit that, these days, but generally to Roger's point, when you use debt to do a flip, when you use debt, what's the word I'm looking for, in the right fashion, you're really alleviating a lot of the risk. I mean, instead of her having to put $300,000 of her own money up at risk, the lender is taking all the risk. So worst case scenario, if she had to walk from this property, she's probably out, her down payment plus some interest, let's say around 30 or 40,000, but at least she's not out 300,000. So not only does using leverage increase your return on your actual cash that you have to put into a project, it also mitigates and relieves a lot of the risk off you and puts it on the lender.
Yeah, I can tell you, your bedtime ritual is very different when you have all of the risk and a good chunk of your own personal wealth in one project. Yeah. That is, a lot more prayers get said, because that could be a good thing. But anyway, it's just a whole different situation when you have the risk, and I would rather keep Will praying by putting the risk on him with the loans.
Absolutely.
And so Will probably prays for all of his people, right?
Of course, every night. It's a long bedtime ritual, I'll tell you
Lord
that much.
bless them all. Yeah. All right. Now, Bay Mountain is your lending. You told me, do you mind sharing a little bit? You had some ambitious goals. We were talking before the show started about the immediate future of Bay Mountain. As much of that as you can share, it's okay. You're not going to get in trouble with your board?
No, absolutely. We are a hard money lender, private lender based out of Dallas, Texas. 3 years ago, we set on a path to grow and grow in a big and quick fashion. And back then, we were lending in basically Texas and the 4 markets in Texas: Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. Over the past 3 years, we have grown, with the help of people like Chip over here, to 16 different markets. So we are increasing, and our goal is to keep increasing, keep growing to where within 10 years we want to be in 50 different markets across the Southeast, Southwest.
Yeah. Well, Flipping America wants to help you in that journey as well. And so we were talking, no firm plans or anything like that, but we were just talking a little bit about these markets and the ideas and maybe coordinating some of our efforts, because I've got a group of people making offers on properties, but if we can be making offers on properties in the same towns, then maybe we can grow both of us together.
I like it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that too. Well, all right. So don't run off, guys. Thanks for being here. But we're going to consider this a word from the spot. Well, you know what? Let's throw in a little bit there. We talked the story, but a little bit about features and benefits. The commercial thing. One of the reasons I'm so committed to helping Bay Mountain is because of the way you guys treat your customers, and the fact that you actually do loan the money, you don't jerk them around, and you do close. And we're not going to name names here publicly, but we were naming names privately here in the studio before of some lending companies that I hope go out of business because of the way they treat their people, and sometimes don't close, and sometimes don't close at the last minute and leave you in a jam. And I've been mortally wounded in my business by one of these large companies, and I'm not going to say I'm here because maybe it was my fault. I doubt it, but give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, I want you guys to succeed. I want you to blow the roof off because of the good things that you do, and you also have very competitive rates. So let's not get bogged down too much in rates and terms, but give us a little bit of an idea, Chip. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so we can do a 100% loan for experienced investors.
That's a big one.
And that's what I was talking about on this deal. It might have been a 100% loan, but because of a couple of things, it wasn't. She was very experienced. But and that's when you're not doing a very heavy rehab. If you do a very heavy rehab, it would be 90%. Now, if you're less experienced, brand new, we're going to be at 85%. If you've done one or two so far, 90%. And there are some limits on both of those as to how much rehab you can do. But I'd love to talk to you about it, and I'll put some information in the chat about all of our rates and terms. But if you send me an email, I'll send you our term sheets. And my email address is chip@baymtn.com.
Yeah,
So
Chip at
MTN
BayMTN.
is the abbreviation for mountain.
Yeah. All right. I got to do a couple of announcements, and then we're going to get right on over to visit with Seth. Seth's standing by. He's still here. This is Flipping America. This is the Flipping America REIA. And that was last week. I thought I updated. Here's what we're talking about today. The RE Tipster. And we're going to, some of you I've already met because I had Seth on the show a couple years ago. But unless you've been listening a long time, you might not at least from me, know who he is yet. Or some of you may be here because you know who he is and you're just learning about me. That's fine. This is tomorrow night. Dave DeBow is going to be along, and I have asked him to deliver his entire 45-minute presentation on raising private money. Now, we also have a private money course, and if you're on the call tomorrow night, we're going to give it to you. And not only are we going to give that to you, we are going to give you an entire day with Dave. This guy's one of the best private money people I've ever seen. If you want to develop your own network and find people around you who have money they may want to put into your deals, Dave is the best at it. I've been pretty good at raising private money. I've done pretty well with that in my life and career, but I've never really built a system for it. I'm not even really exactly sure how I do it, but Dave is sure how he can show anyone how you can develop a network of private lenders to go along and help you, maybe help you in conjunction with a hard money loan from Bay Mountain Capital. I don't know. I probably shouldn't make too much of a big deal about the private money thing with the hard money guy sitting right here, but oh well, that's just the way the schedule goes. Next Wednesday, Stephen Weibel is going to join us. He works with Credit Suite, and they help businesses become credit worthy by building up your credit history and Dun & Bradstreet rating, trade lines, and it's a little bit different approach, but I found him interesting to speak with, and I wanted you to hear from him. So Stephen Weibel will be here next Wednesday night. We've got some resources for you here at Flipping America REIA, and this is where it's time for you to take a screenshot because I'm just going to zoom through this. If you want to find deals, there's your link. If you want to get a Drive-In for Dollars app, there's your link. If you want to get funding, there's your link to BayMountainCapital.com. If you need some gap funding or unsecured funding, we have a new page we just went live with it, week before last. It's called FlippingAmericaFunding.com. And at this page, I've got a link to gap funders and unsecured business loan type of funding that you can use in conjunction with some hard money lenders. And you can also use it for training, hint. But anyway, that's right there at FlippingAmericaFunding.com. There's another link on there to hard money, and guess where it goes? It goes to a video where I say, Chip Cagle is the man. He's going to help you get the money that you need to do your deal, and that's with Bay Mountain Capital. Have you seen that video yet? Yeah. All right. If you want to analyze deals, FlippingAmericaComps.com. If you want to invest with retirement funds, one of our other sponsors, American IRA, AmericanIRA.com. If you need insurance on a real estate deal, I've got a link and a resource there for you through the National Real Estate Insurance Group. And if you use this link, they will give me a small referral fee. I think I make like $9 or $10 if you buy insurance from them. So, hey, every $9 or $10 adds up, because if I can get a couple of those deals, then I can afford a cup of coffee at the place downstairs here in Midtown Atlanta. What was it?
$8.
$8 for a cup of coffee. Yeah, that makes me grateful I don't drink coffee. Anyway, deals from the MLS. I'm a big fan of Privy, and my team uses Privy, and you can make offers straight from the MLS and watch what other investors are doing. And so those are some resources. Here's another one. If you have one of these devices in your home, you could say, Alexa, play the podcast Flipping America, and the last show that I published will start playing. Flipping America did start out as a radio show coast to coast on AM/FM stations. We turned it into a podcast. It has become this REIA, launched in January of 2020. It is becoming the Flipping America Academy. I'll say more about that when we launch later this year. The Buyers Club launched in the middle of last year, and we have 82 members. And this month, in the month of June and up through July, we're opening the doors. They've been closed for a while, but we are opening the doors to take on 30 or 40 new members in the Buyers Club. The Buyers Club is a done-for-you service where we buy inexpensive houses around the country and make them available to the Buyers Club for a very small fee and markup. We teach you what to do with them. We are buying properties all over the country and selling them as is with seller financing and making killer returns. My attorneys tell me not to say anything in public about the returns because the numbers are so high. It exposes me to some risk or liability, and those returns, of course, are not guaranteed, but they are crazy high cash flow returns. And in order to get into the club, well, probably just drop me an email. We're going to do a webinar next Tuesday night, and we'll do a few more webinars over the next few weeks and give people an opportunity to join the Buyers Club. And then the trading platform, it's coming soon. But we have held off on release because I'm picky. I want it to be a great experience when you use it. I want there to be no questions about where you should go or what you should click on. But I just picture this. Wholesalers, you've got a property you want to sell. Instead of coming home and creating a flyer and sending it out to your list and hoping that one of your 50 people on your list will buy it, you can put it on this platform and it will be seen by hundreds, maybe thousands of investors, and you may have an offer on it immediately. It's not just a website, it is also an app. And so you'll be able to sit at the property where you're negotiating with the seller, take pictures right from your phone, put it in the app, click submit. It gets posted on the Flipping America Network, the Fan, and immediately investors get text message notifications that the property has been posted. You may have an offer immediately. This will work for homeowners too. And the great thing is sellers never pay a dime. We have an optional way that you can boost your thing if you want to, but you don't have to pay anything to post a property. And the only time money comes to us is we get a technology fee from the buyer whenever they decide to go to contract and buy a property. It's coming soon. How soon, I don't know, but soon. I encourage you to join the Flipping America REIA. It gets you access to all of the content that we've got in the archives, discounts on our courses, and coaching programs. You're part of a network, and you can join. This is the best deal in REIAs anywhere. You can join the REIA for $99 a year. And if you can't swing $99, well, you can join for $10 a month. You don't get all the discounts when you're joining at $10 a month, but still, you can be a part of this thing, this movement, the Flipping America REIA, for as little as $10 a month. Say hi in the comments and chat, and a lot of those comments and chat things will appear on screen here as we go along. Ask your questions also if you have questions for either of the Bay Mountain guys or for me or for our guest we're going to talk to in just a moment. Put them in the comments and we'll try to deal with them. All right. Now, that was last week. I didn't mean to hit. I should have deleted that earlier, but I didn't. And so, I don't think a show can go by where I don't make at least one mistake. But here we are. Hey, Seth.
Hey, Roger. How you doing?
Everybody, this is Seth Williams. He is an investor who likes to make money. Which of us don't like to make money? But Seth likes to mitigate his risk, and he does a variety of things. And he first caught my eye about, 2-3 years ago, when I don't really know exactly how I stumbled across this website, and it is cool. That's all I can say is, I wish I could make a website that looked as cool as RE Tipster. And so I thought to myself, I got to contact this guy. I got to get him on the show. And so this is your second appearance with us. Man, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
Now, a lot of people that know me don't necessarily know you. So you're up there in Michigan. Tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get into real estate investing? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm probably a lot like, most of your listeners. I'm nothing, special. I was probably about 10 or 12 years ago now when I first got interested in real estate, and I was trying to figure out how to flip houses and buy rental properties and that kind of thing. And the issue that I was having, this was like 2006-ish, around that time. The issue I was having was that I could not find good deals anywhere. Like I was just looking on the MLS, and it was kind of like today where the prices were just like sky high. I couldn't figure out where my profit margin was going to come from. And, I would have to go into debt and kind of race against the clock and try to figure out ways, doing all this work with the possibility of me actually losing money. And it was just like, I don't know, I was willing to do it, but my wife was like really apprehensive about it. And even I kind of deep down was like, man, I just don't know if I should do this. And I struggled for well over a year trying to find deals this way. And it was around the 2008 time, right as things were starting to crash, and discovered this opportunity in the land investing business. Yeah. And not just specifically going after vacant land properties, but the way that you go about finding the deals so that you can get them so cheap, it's like very, very hard to lose money, and you don't need to take out loans at all. Like you can buy them for a few $1,000 kind of thing, and then sell them for 2 to 3 to 4 times more than that. And yeah, that was kind of the start of my journey where I sent out direct mail to a very targeted list of people. And I was shocked at how many people responded to my mail. Like, I had never done direct mail before at that point in time. I expected it to be terrible because I threw away junk mail all the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people responded, and they were like, yes, send me an offer. And I sent them very low offers, and they're like, yes, let's do it. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, how is this happening? And that first year, I did about 30 deals where I bought these vacant lots, just cash, and I listed them on Craigslist. So I wasn't using a realtor or anything like that. Just listed them and posted pictures and a good description and title and all that, and they would sell in anywhere from like a couple weeks to a few months is about how long they would take to sell. And it was crazy to me because I was able to invest with the cash in my bank account. Like, I didn't have to have a ton of money. I didn't have to, go into debt or anything like that, which made my wife happy. And I then had to, basically just wait for the right buyer to come along, and they paid me cash, and I did it all over again. And that's really, for me, I think, like, I don't know if it's my low risk tolerance or I'm just not smart enough or what, but like, it was the first thing I ever really succeeded at, and I've kind of stuck to it over the years, and it's been a good business for me. So, yeah.
Well, I say on my show, at least half of the time, flipping houses isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's probably not for most people. That there have to be other things. In fact, we've documented 86 different career paths for in real estate and real estate investing. And so, is land what you do mostly?
Yeah, it's these days I'm actually doing a lot with RE Tipster. That was a website I started back in late 2012, just because I saw some other blogs on the internet that were doing some really cool things, publishing a lot of really good free information, stuff that I would gladly pay for, but they were just putting out there for free. And I thought, you know what, maybe I could do that with the little bit that I know about real estate, because I had been in it for a few years at that point. Taking the journey on to RE Tipster, kind of started doing like half and half, with half my time in the land business and half my time doing RE Tipster stuff and, making videos and blog posts and that kind of thing. So these days my time is probably split like, 80-20 or so, with 80% going to RE Tipster and 20% going to the land business.
Really? All
right.
And
It's just been a good way to, they're two completely different businesses. Like, they're connected in that you need the knowledge of the real estate business in order to make the content, but in terms of like what makes the needle go up and down for each one, like, it's very different. It has nothing to do with each other, really.
Yeah. Well, when we scheduled you to be on the show, Jake here in our office looked at your website and he said, "Oh man, I'm getting ideas there," because you do a beautiful job. RE Tipster is a beautiful site, and I admire the way that you put it all together and the information that you have there. But do you monetize that then, since it's 80% of your time?
Yeah, that's part of the cool thing about it is there's ways to monetize a website like that don't require me to like come out and pitch stuff all the time. One of the ways that we do it is through different affiliate links. And the way that we do that is, say, for example, if there's something that I'm using in my business, like, for example, the phone system that I use or the website provider that I use, I can make a blog post or a video just explaining, like, here's what I use, here's how it works, here's how it's helpful. There's these other 10 options as well, and they're probably fine. But if you want to use the one that I'm using, here's an affiliate link. There you go. And some people will click on that link and buy the thing, and some people won't. But the idea is it's out there. That information's out there 24/7, helping people. And whether it helps a person decide to go a different direction or go the direction that I went, there's opportunities to monetize it that way. There's also like various ads and stuff that will show up on the website. We try to put them in a place that it doesn't get in the way of the content the person's trying to read. It's not like a distraction. We've also have a YouTube channel that has little ads that play in that. There's other little one-off products. There's not a lot of them, honestly, but for example, the postcard templates that I used when I was getting started, like, when I was just telling you a while ago about how I sent out direct mail, like you could buy the actual, like, word for word language that I use on my postcards. Like, that's a thing you could pay and download. But at the same time, I try to explain to people, like, you don't need this. You could do just the same thing if you followed this format, explain it in this way. So go ahead, use your own creativity. But if you just want an easy button, you can also download my templates right here. So I try to do it in a way that's, I don't make a person feel like they need to pay me money to succeed, because they don't. They can totally do it on their own. It's just a matter of if they want to get there a little bit faster or just not do so much heavy mental lifting. I try to make it easy for people who want to do that.
Yeah, well, I've got your website up over here on the screen off to the side, and right here at the top, I don't think I want to get into the review of House Hacker University here. Was it positive or negative?
That's actually that's a course that we recently put together, and it was like a self-review to take a person through what's in the course.
Oh, that's your own course.
Yeah, it's a little biased, but
so it's a positive. It's a glowing review. 5 stars.
Of course.
I give it 10 out of 5.
The idea was to just, like, anytime I see a course, part of me is like, okay, what's really in this? Like, what am I going to get on the other side? And I don't really understand it until I just buy the thing. And the idea with that review is to really just take them through the course, like literally open everything up, play a few videos, like make it very abundantly clear what's on the other side, just so a person really knows what they're getting.
So then tell us, what's House Hacker University all about?
Yeah, House Hacker University, that was actually put together by Jaron Barnes. He's one of the part of the RE Tipster team. He's been a house hacker for a few years now. He's done a couple house hacks, and he's learned a lot along the way about.
Now, by house hacker, are you talking about buying something, moving in, fixing it up, and selling for a profit, and moving on down the street?
Yeah, no, sorry, let me clarify that. So house hacking is this term that was coined, I believe, by Brandon Turner at Bigger Pockets a few years back. Basically what it's referring to, the concept is nothing new. It's just the idea of buying like a duplex or triplex or fourplex, living in one unit and renting out the other ones to supplement your housing payment or cover it completely. So it's the idea of, you living in a multifamily property. And, in that course, we basically talk about, how do you find the property that's going to work for you? Because this isn't necessarily like buying a property in another state. I mean, this is your home. Like, your tenants are right there. So, like, how do you find a place that's going to work for you and your family? How do you get comfortable with the tenants? How do you deal with issues when they come up? How do you get the financing? How do you handle the management and payment collection? Just all the basics for the people out there who want to do that. And that was me when I was getting started. I wanted to do that, but there wasn't like a really clear hand-holding set of instructions on how to do it. It's not that it was rocket science, but like it would have been helpful just to have somebody who had done it before to like show me this is exactly what you do. And that's what that course is all about. So, okay,
well, that's good. And so, 10 stars out of 5 for that review. And then, all right, now where I was going with this was, you have something here, 28 window types, an illustrated guide. Did you do the artwork for this? Because you've also got how many roof types? I was on down here a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's 30 of the roof types.
Yeah, 30 roof types.
Yeah, so something that I've always tried to do on RE Tipster is experiment. So some people come because they want, like, hey, show me how to make money, which is great. And we certainly have that stuff. But some people just kind of want to be entertained, whether it's, that's interesting, or that was kind of funny. So that was one of those blog posts I put together, just saying, hey, have you ever wondered, ever seen these window types? You ever wonder what they're called? Here you go. Here's a big list. And that image on that blog post blew up on Reddit. Like, it was crazy. I don't know what happened, but I believe it showed up on the front page of Reddit for a day.
Congratulations there.
Got like 50,000 upvotes or something. I don't know what was, we put a lot of work into it for sure. I didn't do the artwork, but I hired that out. So we put a lot of effort into it, but I don't know what it was about that specifically that really caught on, but a lot of people found it pretty interesting.
Well, I've got an idea, and I have lots of ideas. And I categorize my ideas. Some of them are on the back burner. Mm-hmm. Some of them are in the warming oven, and some of them are still in the pantry. Yeah. Well, this one's in the pantry. It hadn't made it to the warming oven yet, but I had the idea 2 years ago to do a course, and I'm giving you this idea now because maybe you can take this and run with it. Or maybe we can do it together. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to do a course called the House Course. And in this, there's a series of illustrations that are like exploded diagrams that show every piece and part of the house. Mm-hmm. This is a soffit. This is the fascia. This is a corbel. This is a mullion. Whatever the pieces are. So like you go through all the pieces of a window and all the pieces of your cornice work in the house. And so people can understand. That way new investors can talk with a little bit of intelligence with the contractor or maybe a realtor or maybe a lender. And I'm pointing, the guys sitting right over there smiling right now because y'all get a lot of ignorant. I want to put the thing on the whatchamacallit.
Absolutely not. All of our borrowers are very sophisticated.
We'll put the Doomafloggy over there on that thing. And anyway, I have this idea. I don't know even if it would be a great seller. Maybe it would just be a free blog post on RE Tipster. But what do you think, man?
There's you might be surprised. Something that I find a lot of value in is images. And the reason I find value in them is because they sort of convey things in a way that words by themselves can't do, or at least it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Look at a picture.
A lot of people are visual learners too, not word learners. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And whether it's like a chart or like a three-dimensional, image of a section of something like that, like what you're talking about, if it's really well done, if it's really thought through and done correctly, it can take like many, many hours to make a single image like that. But like it is worth 1,000, 10,000 words just because it makes something click in a person's mind when they never really got it before. So I think it's a great idea. It's just a matter of executing it and finding a designer who would like really be able to portray that the right way so that anybody can understand it just by looking at it for a couple seconds.
Yeah. I think it would be a collaboration between a designer and an engineer or somebody who knew the structural part of it well enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's actually very, very difficult to do. Finding a writer who knows how to write well is very challenging, and a designer is just as hard. A lot of people just don't get it. You have to find the right talented person.
Yeah. You talk about, I hired a copywriter one time a couple of years ago to do a promo for a live event I was doing, and I kid you not, in the copy it said, "What a great deal! Holy cow!" I thought, man, are you 75? What's going on? Who says "holy cow" anymore? So yeah. All right. Well, let me know, man, if you want to pursue that. Just give me credits somewhere for the idea and the thing. But actually, when I see the roof type things, and that's the first thing I thought of. Yeah, the explanation of the whole house. But this may be a better way to attack it because you're just taking one thing, and maybe somebody out there just wants they've got to replace some windows, or maybe they want to know what is that kind of window? What is that called? It cranks out. But is that a louvered window or is that a awning window? And what's the difference?
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because we got a lot of different comments on Reddit when we posted that, and there were some people who were like, "Hey, I actually work for a window company. Like I'm their salesman, and I didn't even know half of these. This is really helpful. Thanks a lot," that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, don't be ashamed if you don't know, because even the professionals sometimes don't know.
Yeah. I tell you guys, I'm really a big, in case you can't tell it, I'm really a big fan of the RE Tipster website. Here's and you categorize them too with cute little graphics too. And 7 ways to sell your property in 7 days. My Fundrise investment 4 years later. I'm going to read that one. I'm interested in knowing about that. Yeah. How real estate investors can guarantee profitability. That's an interview you did for your podcast with David Richter. And how to determine fair market rental value for your rental property. And that's something that I do multiple times every day with dozens of properties all across the country. And so give me the quick skinny on that one. How do you do it?
Yeah, that was actually written by one of our writers, Brian Davis. He basically just goes through a lot of the standard stuff that to somebody like yourself, I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer. But for a lot of people who either don't do it on the regular, or maybe they're new to the rental property business, they don't know what they're looking at and what to compare it to. And when they're actually looking at numbers that this is legit. You can trust this. Or no, you should probably cross-check this with a few other sources like these. It's basically just going through the nuts and bolts of how to do that. Know that you're actually working with a number that you can rely on. So that's hugely important. I mean, you're talking about making a big investment, and just a little bit wrong, a few degrees in one direction or another, like that could be make a pretty big impact for the better or worse.
Yeah, but I try to buy them with margin of error built in there, depending on my familiarity with that market. But
yeah, for sure.
All right. So, do you use Rent-A-Meter?
It's funny. I was actually on that website last week, I think it was. So, I think the answer to that is yes, just based on that. But at the same time, I understand that when I'm looking at that, there's a lot of just inherently, I think what they're asking for is the rental price, the address, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and that's it. And this is like the free version of Rentometer.
Yeah.
Well, that information is just not enough to really like truly understand what you're looking at. You're not talking about like the condition of it, or I don't think you put square footage in there at all.
Nope,
or
you
like
don't.
Parking or utilities or anything like. So just by nature of the fact that you're not feeding it much information, you can't expect that much perfection on the other end.
Right, and that is the free level. I am a pro member, a pro user of it, and it's funny because I call it Rent-A-Meter and people call it Rentometer. Who knows how to pronounce it? I didn't know that Verbo was pronounced Verbo until they started doing commercials. I always called it VRBO, but anyway, so Rentometer, whatever it is, some of the times I'm looking at these little houses and they're in towns so small, they come back and say, we don't have any data in that town. No surprise. And I'm interested. I may have to read that too. And note to staff, hey staff, I don't have to write all these blog articles myself. We need to get writers. Okay, so staff has been informed. I like that idea too. And I had not noticed that, but I look now and I see that you didn't write a lot of these. So you're becoming like Bigger Pockets sort of thing. You're my hero, man. Let's all go copy their model. All right. Well, you know what I do when I can't get enough data? I just, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, I just Google rent a house, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and see what pops up on rent.com or apartments.com or whatever. And all right.
It's a good idea.
All right. Well, I think I've done the best I can to drive some people to your website, and I hope that helps. But I really think that you guys should go to the website. I mean, the Flipping America REIA website has a lot of data, but we put it all behind the paywall, and you've got to be a member to access all the old data. But you have a wealth of information for free. Now, we do give a wealth of information for free by doing these live events twice a week, and a lot of work and effort goes into that. You've got a different way of providing a wealth of information for free, but I definitely, the world is big enough for 100 people like you and me to say everything we know about real estate, and we still won't say it all. Right?
That's true.
All right. So I want to give you a minute to collect your thoughts and give us a final pep talk to encourage us to get out there, right? But I'll come back to you in just a minute. But, well, get rid of those. Okay. That's coming up tomorrow night. Anyway, I want to encourage all of you to join us tomorrow night for the private money presentation with Dave DeBow, and that starts at 7:30 Eastern time. We'll be right back here having a good time in the studio, laughing and carrying on, but also delivering some content that you can use. This is the Flipping America REIA, and I am going to give our guest today, Seth Williams, the last parting words. Take it away, my man. Inspire me.
Oh man. Well, I actually really like the way you open this show. You do every single show like that, playing that thing that you wrote about taking responsibility for your actions and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that it reminded me of a couple Stephen Covey quotes. I actually pulled them up here. One of them, he says, "I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions."
Yeah, very good.
But I thought that was awesome. So, yeah, in terms of just like inspiration, I guess it kind of depends on the individual and what they're looking for. But I know for myself, something that I've kind of struggled with kind of my whole investing career is dealing with being like overly cautious, like waiting too long, or being too conservative, or really what it boils down is like fear, just not wanting to take a risk and go out on a limb and be wrong and look like a fool or lose money and that kind of thing. And I would just encourage people right now, especially right now, because prices are like really high. It's it's a tough time to find awesome deals. They're not just on every corner like they were, 8 years ago. So I would just encourage everybody to, keep your nose to the grindstone and keep looking, and don't be afraid to take a risk, and don't be afraid to look like a fool. And just realize that any kind of learning or any kind of expertise or success you see out there in the world, there's probably a whole lot of failure and, mishaps and mistakes that they're not willing to advertise and that they're not talking about. So I think it's just part of every investor's journey when people are trying to get better at something or find that next great deal or that success story. Just be aware, a lot of it is not glamorous. A lot of times it is just hard, and it's a lot of looking for things that aren't there and bumping into walls. And that's okay. That's part of every normal, successful person's journey.
All right. That's Seth Williams, retipster.com, retipster.com. Make sure you go by and visit. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.